to 9:30 a.m.
Get your morning inspired. Be informed. Let's interact only on the morning drive.
Make it a date with Makinde, aka Meta.
And Christy, aka Classy.
From Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
On the morning drive.
103.5 Echo 90
Good morning and welcome to Ibadan at the 103.5 FM today, the 30th day of January 2024. Today is Tuesday and the time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on Ibadan at the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that the complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Pois não, o café bem é mistura. Qual é nem que se pode falar de distância. You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper, Leadership newspaper, Vanguard, Daily Post, Punch, The Sun, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-96661035. Remember that you can equally become part on our Facebook page. FM, drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Federal government approves MMS for pregnant women. Zulum secures 8 capital projects for Qatari Foundation. Shites urge Kaduna government to unban IMN. Release El Zazaki. How Mammoth crowd welcomed Bello to Okene. Yusuf denies signing part ahead of a Supreme Court ruling on Kanu Guba. Tinubu celebrates Cardinal Oneikan at 80. FCTA raids criminals' hideouts in Abuja, arrests 3 suspected drug peddlers. Single-use plastics ban in Lagos. Businesses shop for alternatives. Advocate incentivized recycling. 2,423 people killed, 1,872 kidnapped in 8 months under Tinubu. Nigeria, Ghana lead West Africa's identity fraud cases. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Binani's fresh legal battle against Pintri. Coups. Civil society organizations urges ECOWAS to establish anti-terrorism task force. Oyebanji laments deplorable state of federal roads in Ekiti. Lagos goes top on properties without planning permit. Obi Afenifere visit Makinde over Ibadan explosion. Edo Guba, Idahosa urges PDP to honor candidacy agreement with Ogbeida Ihama. Edo Guba, we've taken this. Let's revert to accountability to survive as a nation, says Osuno. Ohaneze applauds Tinubu on resuscitation, enhancement of roads. Court adjourns Kanu's 50 billion naira suit against federal government. Mba has demonstrated capacity to move Enugu forward, says IPAC. There will be consequences if you work against my administration, Fubara warns returnee commissioners. Obaseki orders reaccreditation of over 6,500 vigilante personnel. Italy pitches migration energy plan at Africa Summit. Elizabeth Varsity won't condone acts of entitlement, ego tripping. Vice Chancellor warns students. Newlywed bridesmaids. Others die in Niger road accident. Federal government opens application for 500,000 cash grants for artisans, trainees. Court remands 41 suspects over alleged mining of Oyo government's gold. Court. Heroic homecoming. Mammoth crowd storm Okene streets to welcome Yahaya Bello. Sanwo-Olu, Mba, Diri, others bag new Telegraph Awards. Ogun. Former speaker. Others arraigned for alleged 2.5 billion naira fraud. Navy arrests 11 suspects in Rivers for attempting to construct illegal refinery. Bronu local government chairman to sign attendance register 4 times daily. Zulum. Police rescue 9 kidnapped Lagos PDP members. Nasarawa SIEC postpones local government area elections indefinitely. Federal government urges Nigerians to look beyond the country's challenges. Wasa Osodema urges relentless fight against insecurity. Army harps on training, sports to enhance combat efficiency. CBN releases $500 million to clear more verified forest liabilities. Insecurity. Bago says agriculture key to addressing menace in the north. Fries Land Kapina led value for dairy costume. Guest $5 million grant to boost the dairy sector. Friesland Kapina led value for dairy costume. Gets $5 million grant to boost dairy sector. Federal government to inaugurate 37-member committee on new national minimum wage. Kidnapped PDP boss Ivuj regains freedom. Accident. FRSC warns motorists against overloading. Stop syringe imports to boost local industry. NAFDAC tells agents. Federal government plans to collaborate with RMAFC on blocking revenue leakages in mining sector. Squatters under Ejora Causeway, Blue Line bridges get 5-day quit notice. That's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And from the Guardian newspaper this morning, we flip over to Leadership newspaper. AFCON, Pizarro wants Eagles against complacency. AFCON, Pizarro wants Eagles against complacency. AFN evaluation meets. Gazama frowns at 40,000 naira top prize, says athletes deserve much more. MPFL, Enyimba, battle ready for Rivers United, Ozemena. Sports Minister pledges support for Tanya, commends Soludo. Angola players receive cash, iPhones, as motivation to beat Super Eagles. Cape Verde beat Mauritania to book AFCON quarterfinals spot. Ngannou is my undisputed fight, Joshua insists. Army chief pledges commitment to combat readiness of troops. Tinubu condoles with Abu Salami over sister's death. Still on the stories making the headlines on Leadership newspaper this morning. Pope hails Italy's Sinner for Grand Slam victory. AFCON, Bafana eyes Atlas Lions scrap. Despite sacrificing cow, Egypt coach blames bad luck for AFCON exit. Forest, meter producers under pressure to sustain supply. Nigeria records 18% national identity attacks. Hazy weather. NCAA warns pilots, operators over poor visibility. FIN, Mahabis, partner Asia, United Arab Emirates on investment opportunities in Africa. Nigeria-Morocco pipeline to boost uninterrupted gas supply. IPU. $1.5 billion Lekki Deep Sea Port receives first LNG-powered vessel. SMEDAN trains youths in FCT. Those are startup kits. Glow subscribers win business class return tickets to Europe. PDP candidate urges civil society organizations to monitor by-election. I have capacity to dislodge Soludo, Senator Oba. Benue, APC disowns Oneje over petition against party chairman. I condoled with victims. Others, hours after blast, Atiku replies Makinde. Food insecurity, serious threat to Nigeria, Obi. Not all fibroids should be treated, says physician. Poverty alleviation and the need for accountability. Physical training critical to combat readiness. Efficiency. Physical training critical to combat readiness. Efficiency. Relocation of some federal agencies out of Abuja, a welcome development. That's the much we can take from the Leadership newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning, from the Leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to Vanguard newspaper. Kidnappers shoot at moving vehicle. Man abducted, wife injured. ECOWAS, we are ready to engage Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, federal government. $20 billion Dangote refinery to import crude from United States. Rivers police kill Togo. Rescue one-day-old baby from child traffickers. Nigeria records biggest fall in official market. Depreciates to Naira records biggest fall in official market. Depreciates to 1,348 Naira per dollar. Same-sex blessing. Africans are special, but everyone will gradually accept Pope Francis. If Tinubu fails to do it right, we will fight him. Odia Ofeimon. Don't destroy my government, Fubara tells reappointed commissioners. Despite initial resistance, 8,285 candidates register for median CB WAEC. Growing helplessness of Nigerians over insecurity. Edo Guba, no list. Adamawa governorship tussle. Supreme Court reserves judgment on Binani's appeal. Explosion. Makinde falls Atiku over lack of empathy. Fubara swears in ex-factional speaker Ehi as chief of staff. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. Atiku, Makinde trade wars over Ibadan explosion. Federal government, US, signed memorandum of understanding to train police special squad commanders. Nigerian Air Force demands unpaid debt to help INEC lift buy election materials. Edo Speaker suspends member, approves Obaseki's 2.2 billion naira loan. Ogun Assembly raises panel to review impeached speaker's case. Culture making Africans intolerant of blessings for same-sex couples. Pope Ogun, we've taken this. Navy arrests 11 suspects attempting to build illegal refinery. Ogun Assembly raises panel to review impeached speaker's case. Lawmakers accuse Fubara of unlawful conduct. Governor warns pro-Wike appointees. JAMB suspends 10,378 DE students. Admission over failed verification. JAMB suspends 10,378 D students' admission over failed verification. Obaseki orders reaccreditation of 6,500 vigilantes. Military bombs 30 terrorists in Kaduna, frees 35 abductees in Castena. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning. 8,285 candidates sit computer-based WAEC January 31st. Lagos State government promises justice for students allegedly flogged to death. Don't deal in property without permit. Lagos State government warns stakeholders. Bronu installs clock-in machine for local government chairs to check absenteeism. Bronu installs clock-in machine for local government chairs to check absenteeism. Bronu farmers, driver killed as bus runs over IED. Rivers police kill pirate who murdered 4 Nigerian security civil defense corps operatives. Abuja private school owners reject Wike's fee hike. Bandit abduct Zamfara newly married couple. Security, constitution amendment top agenda as reps resume today. Residents flee as Osun communities renew hostility. 2,423 killed, 1,872 abducted under Tinubu civil society organizations. PDP chieftain accuses Kogi governor of establishing office of immediate past governor. Dangote refinery to import crude from US, report. NCAA warns pilots, airlines over bad weather. Nigeria remains open for engagement with Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, federal government, security, amendment. We've taken this. Federal government orders contractors back to Eleme One, East-West Road construction site. Tinubu, Buhari, Kondo, Abu Salami over sister's death. Tinubu, Buhari congratulates Oneikan at 80. 4 feared killed as gunmen attack POS operators in Imo. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning, from the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. Opposition to LGBT blessings. Pope reacts, says Africans are special case. 70% of Nigeria's food products rejected abroad, NAFDAC. Lagos government gives 5-day quick notice to squatters under Ijara Bridge. Edo Guba, APC warns Oshomole, state chapter against vetting aspirants. Niger Assembly Speaker hails army over war against bandits, insurgents in Niger. Call on NMPP leaders to join APC. Ganduje determined to end politics of bitterness, says aide. Incarceration. Nnamdi Kanu's family cries out. Mango killings. Mawavo youths fault military narratives, question army's integrity. I respect painstaking process in picking the Sun Award winners. Para First Lady. Fresh crisis looms in APC as Bello floods party secretariat with posters. Tinubu condoles with Abu Salami over sister's death. By election, PDP, Labour Party bigwigs defect to APC in Ebonyi. Ebonyi South senatorial by-election, Umaye drums of support for Annie. Edoguba, PDP screens Chaibu, Igadalo, others. Why I want to govern Anambra, Oba. We run by-election polls, pay your debt arrears for better services, Air Chief warns INEC. Leveraging right framework, instruments to achieve price stability. Naira depreciation drives Guinness finance cost up by 385% in Q2 2024. Amid CBN directive, BVN count now 60.492 million NIBSS. Overseas students, others cry out over unfavorable exchange rates. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Sun newspaper this morning, Ishekiri sets world lead as Emekweshi, others chime in athletes meet. The relocation of CBN, FAAN departments. Reviewing the global tax system, taming Abuja kidnappers. And that's the much we can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. From the Sun newspaper, we'll flip over to Daily Post newspaper. Nasarawa court set January 31st for hearing on bail bond review for 30 protesting women, 8 others. House of Reps list organ harvesting, Electoral Act amendment bill, others for debate. Suspected kidnappers kill 2 traditional rulers in Ekiti. Nigerian government to sanction sulfur regulations defaulters. Oyetola. Drama in court. Lawyer asks Supreme Court to reverse ruling on Akwa Ibom Guba. Rivers crisis. Don't use your position to antagonize anyone. Fubara wants new appointees. Zulum swears in special advisors, local government area chairs, permanent secretaries in Borno. Abuja Disco names Ijalabi acting MD. Kanu. Why Ganduje should kneel down. Beg Kwankwaso, Buba, Galadima. Nigeria open to support for job creation, agricultural infrastructure, Chetima tells Makinde. Atiku's ex-spokesman, Daniel Biwara, meets Tinubu again in Paris. Edo Guba, PDP denies listing venues for 3 ad hoc delegate congress. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. From the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Nation newspaper. Security men raise bar in battle against kidnappers. CBN injects $500 million into forest market. Ibadan blast. Makinde latches Atiku. Council chiefs to sign attendance register. APC national share. Yahaya Bello. Posters flood Abuja. 3 feared killed in Osun communal clash. INEC begins distribution of materials for Saturday rerun by elections. Fubara, Rivers lawmakers on another collision course. We won't accept shoddy jobs. Umaye wants road contractors. Supreme Court dismisses cases against Tinubu, Buhari, INEC, AGF. Supreme Court dismisses cases against Tinubu, Buhari, INEC, AGF. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Secure Nigeria. Ensure justice for victims. Civil society organizations urge federal government. 8,285 candidates register for CB WAEC. 8,285 candidates register for CB West Africa examination, West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination for private candidates. ICPC chairman reaffirmed commitment to integrity, accountability, help Nigerians in Egyptian prisons. Igoho begs president, NIDCOM. Help Nigerians in Egyptian prisons. Igoho begs president, NIDCOM. Oyebanji laments deplorable state of federal roads in Ekiti. Free forms for 3,000 Ekiti UTME applicants. Workers accuses Ayedatiwa of spending government funds recklessly. Kanu's 50 billion naira suit adjourned to April 22nd. President felicitates Oneikan at 80. Osun doctors declare strike after patient's father attacks colleague. And that's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. From the Nation newspaper, we'll flip over to this day newspaper. Atiku, Makinde trade wars over Ibadan explosion. Security Constitution amendment. Electoral reforms top agenda as lawmakers resume today. Reports hints exit of IOCs from Nigeria could reverse oil output decline. Report hints exit of IOCs from Nigeria could reverse oil output decline. EITI hands Nigeria 15 corrective actions for execution before 2026 validation exercise. You're listening to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. We'll now go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on this day newspaper. Please stay with us.
Oh, yes. Omunya, are you ready? Omunya City White Crusade. Oh, God, oh, God, Papa. Omunya na obodo niile gbara ya okirikiri gaje ịghọta mbitụ aka Chineke n'ụzọ ga-adị ebube dịka evangelist John Oka ga-atụ dan n'Omunya iji wee chịkọba ọgbakọ oziọma mkpụrụ abalị abụọ ga-ada ụda akpọrọ 2 Nights of Solution. Abalị abụọ iji wee weta ogbo nyere nsogbu gị niile. Isiokwu ya bụ Enough is enough. Tell Ahab Elijah is here. O zuola, ọ tụọla ya. Amụghị nwa gị ahụ atụọla ya. Ọnọdụ ụbịam o mebiri machi ekwe gị ahụ atụọla ya. Nrịanrịa ahụ na-emekpa gị ahụ, nsogbu nke ezinụlọ, abụmọnụ, alụghị di maọbụ nwaanyị n'oge kwesịrị, ha niile ga-abịa n'isi njedebe maka na eluigwe esugo ya stamp. Cheta na ọ bụ Apostle Dr. John Oka ka Chineke ga-ejikwara ngwaọrụ n'ọgbakọ oziọma a. Ọ ga-amalite n'abalị 23 wee ruo n'abalị 24 nke ọnwa Febrụwarị afọ a. Ọ ga na-amalite ma o jiri ọkara gafeta elekere 4 nke mgbede n'ụbọchị ndị a niile, ebe ọ ga n'ime ebunilo ndị ichie họl dị n'Ụmụnya. Maka ajụjụ kpọọ 0703 3881 221. Kpọrọ ndị ezinụlọ gị, kpọrọ ikwu na ibe gị, bịa sonye n'ihe omume a. maka na Elijah nọ n'ebe a, Jizọs bụ eze.
Biko nwanne m bịakene ka m jụọ gị, kedu ebe m ga-enweta ezigbo MC maka mmemme a na-akwado?
Ị ka ma ajụ kpọọ Shaka Shaka, the latest MC in town, ka occasion gị anwa bụrụ ịgba. Ị na-achọ ezigbo MC maọbụ DJ na agbamakwụkwọ go, agbamnkwụ go, child dedication go, imepe ụlọ, ọ bụzi ụmụ akwụkwọ na-eme graduation maọbụ end of the year party. Shaka Shaka bịa na mmemme ahụ. Ị mara na I love you bụ Selekuzi. Kpọọ ya n'akara ekwentị ndị a:
09022670547 maọbụ WhatsApp 07030366888.
Ụmụnne Shaka Shaka.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonadi FM, who will, as the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be?
Our government, whatever.
Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets, in your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanyu, as number the force every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonadi 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds
In your face.
on Emas in Ebonadi corner
24/7. 24/7.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-96661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to this day newspaper. EITI hands Nigeria 15 corrective actions for execution before 2026 validation exercise. To stem Naira's continuing decline, CBN clears another $500 million FX backlog. Tinubu Buhari congratulates Cardinal Oneikan on his 80th birthday. Nigeria expresses sadness over decision of Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali to exit ECOWAS. Gunmen kill 2 Ekiti first-class traditional rulers. 1 escapes. WEF political corporate leaders must prioritize meaningful cooperation with faith actors. Babatunde Fashola, we managed power ministry with progress, energy supply, predictability. Nigeria tops as Africa's electricity use per capita remains stagnant for 30 years. Report: LPG prices soar higher despite 7.5% VAT removal, customs duty waiver. S&P, in spite of multiple delays, Dangote refinery vital to Nigerian economy. Agric Ministry, Naseni partner to boost food security. IITA, NRCRI unveils new yam variety for Nigerian farmers. Fostering job creation through Manufacturing Africa initiative. And Waton killings in Nigeria, P2B tells federal government, security agencies. Ododo sworn in as Kogi governor. I'll be your leader once you join APC. Ganduje tells Kwankwaso others. APC divided against itself in Edo. Jimo Ibrahim holds the ace in Ondo. Babatunde Fashola's book is worth reading. Atiku got it wrong on NMPCL's $3.3 billion crude oil prepayment deal. Autumn's web of lies. Edo APC Guba, who is Oshomole working for? Ayedatiwa draws battle lines with Udu. Akinterenwa, others, dissolves cabinet. Scorecard for the Lagos THEMES plus development agenda. Nigeria UK-based sensation is Bella drops. At Singapore's ART SG, Retro Africa ups the ante. That's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. From this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Suspected kidnappers kill 2 traditional rulers in Ekiti. Federal government unveils 10 agric startups for 10 million naira grant. Born to love, spare hearts, gift to the world. Born to love, spare hearts, gift to the world. MPF partners U.S. law enforcement affairs to train police special squads commanders. Suspected kidnappers kill 2 traditional rulers in Ekiti. Invest in youth empowerment. Cleric urges government. Ogun Assembly constitutes committee to investigate impeached Speaker Oluomo. Governor Sani flags off 35-kilometer road in Kaduna. We are not afraid of ambitious projects, Wike. Why we established community protection guards in Zamfara, Commissioner. Site savers advocates intensified efforts to eliminate neglected tropical diseases. Ondo public servants accuse Governor Ayedatiwa of reckless spending. 194 Jigawa students in Sudan move to Cyprus, India. Taraba launches livestock feed producer training to mitigate herders farmers crisis. Taraba launches livestock feed producer training to mitigate herders farmer crisis. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian Tribune this morning. Federal government to strengthen bilateral education ties with Bulgaria. NPA to begin for analysis for ships sanctioned defaulters. VP, Vice President Chetima inaugurates CBN Center for Excellence at BUK. Federal government committed to provision of quality, inclusive education, UBEC boss. Emir of Ningi marks 46th anniversary with prayers. NCAA allows pilots of 3 days dust haze across Nigeria. Declare state of emergency on crime, terrorism. Chairman SKCL advises federal government. Para group promotes cultural diversity awareness among teachers, students. Debt profile of 1.2 trillion naira in Northwest worrisome. Stakeholders. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And that will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. We'll now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring you reactions this morning. From our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have a message that says the truth must be told that what kept Nigeria in retardation for so long a time is nothing short of the culture of money sharing in Abuja, the seat of power. Every month, states gather in Abuja and share money and go back home to spend it and wait for another round of sharing. That has emasculated the creativity industry and positive thinking. He was encouraged. He has encouraged corruption and desperation for power when jostlers for power have their eyes on the pool of money to be shared. All the brigadinage to be in power is actually the crazy tussle to occupy the position of sharing in chief. Now, so we see him for Niger. Comrade Manly Oduago from Udumo Obosi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It's coming from famous Christian and is joining us from Ifite Village, Agnozibo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message coming from Ogugwa Kenneth Okuchuku from Umuoba Nam, Umuobalishi Kingdom. And he said, Nigeria is wear and tears. Under Tinubu's watch, Naira depreciates. Under Tinubu's watch, economy dwindling, which can cause more hardship to our country. Under Tinubu's watch, security is so porous, which leads to more crime rates in the country. Example, killings, kidnapping, etc. Unemployment is like a time bomb in the country that want to explode. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message coming from Comrade Ibudu from Abagana, and he says, I believe every Nigerian can hear what is Angola's plans towards the next AFCON match between Super Eagles and them. This is the time to back up our players with the necessary support they need. Sometimes I wonder how our country will be in the next 12 years. When I was born, the crime wasn't this much. As old as I grew, the more I hear, see, and experience crime in this country. I wonder how the country would be in the next years to come, because this crime is giving rise to another, because I don't think every child can dodge from father's handwork. Okay, may God help us. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message is coming from Maluto Patrick from Monteje, and it says, based on the report that over 2,000 persons were killed under 8 months of Tinubu government, these people were killed as a result of insecurity challenges in the country. Then my question is, when will this end, or has it become perpetual? I am aware that the primary responsibility of any responsible government is to protect people's life and property as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And while taking oath of office, Tinubu swore to do so. But going by what is happening in the country now, it is as if Tinubu has forgotten that oath he swore. It is a known fact that human blood is worth more than anything on earth. And that is why I am also baffled. I'm always baffled whenever I hear the people are slaughtered like goats in any part of this country. I therefore urge the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to do everything possible within his powers as the president of this country to ensure that the problem of insecurity in this country is addressed once and for all. Otherwise, there will be a time when Nigeria will become a obedient state of nation, where the might is right, but God forbid. Thanks. It's coming from Waloto Patrick from Monteja. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Chike Obata from Obinetiti Okozu, and he says the numbers of killed and kidnapped people under this Tinubu regime is in just few months is much. God protect us. Obi said it all. He said it all. Food insecurity worries Nigeria. Pope Francis should forget about same-sex marriage. Fubara should be careful. Maka na onye yana agụ na-erife na-eji ogologo ngaji. Federal government and security agencies should stop all this killing in this country, according to Peter Bioke. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It is coming from Valentine Edene from Mumbo, and he says, the motto of Tinubu government is inauguration, no implementation has been done, or applaudable things ever since he became president of Nigeria. What Nigeria bishops are still waiting for before they will separate from Roman Catholic, we are supposed to pray for Pope. But I remember what Bible says in book of 1 John 5:16. So let's move on, because I can see that the Pope is eating on the same table, maybe with the Satan, or saying Africa will gradually accept same-sex marriage. Nigerian bishops, separation is the best answer to this. And last, not the least, please remind Mr. Tinubu that he is not Minister of Paris or President of France. Let him remember it was built and beautified by his fellow man. So let him rehabilitate Nigeria for human, because as it is now, it is not different from. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Valentine Edene from Mumbo. And now we have this message. It is coming from the boss from Okozu, and it says Super Eagles are ready to bring back the AFCON Cup home. Obi said the truth about insecurity, but Nigerian government don't want to know that. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It's coming from Chinedu Oneka, pastor, and he's joining us. He says, if Angolan government like let them share cars to their, okay, if they like, let them share cars to their players Nigeria will beat them blue and black. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It's coming from White Lion of Africa, and it says Pope Francis is entitled to his personal opinions on same-sex marriage. It is not acceptable in Nigeria. Tinubu should stop the traveling tourism. He should create a think tank team to move the nation forward. Killing of traditional rulers in Ekiti State. What is Amotekun doing in that region? Fubara appoints a new cabinet. He should kick the ball rolling. I wonder what is going on in that state. Ifanyoba declaration to contest Anambra Guba is really laughable and a mirage. Many states are now introducing clock in and clock out in the state and local government systems. We must get it right. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We will now flip over to our SMS portal to bring you more reactions this morning. From our SMS portal, we have a message coming from Austin Ezenwaka from Umunachi, and it says African Cup of Nations best 11, in which none of the Nigerian players was listed. How can a country that has conceded just one goal in the first round of this tournament will not have at least a player in the list? In fact, CAF is biased against Nigeria. Keeper Mwabali and or defender Goliver Bassi. These two names ought to be seen in the list of that first round best 11. May the CAF do what they like. Any of Nigerian players, we cannot just keep quiet on this issue and they continue to shit us. Let us keep close watch. Okay, let us keep close watch for the second round list. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Agonabo. He's joining us from Upa Aguluzibo. And he says, Pope to say that Africans will join in blessing homosexual is a case and is laughable. We are watching. And for Nnan the Carlo family, let Nigeria release him for peace in Southeast. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. It's coming from Aja from Odume. And he says, we have heard enough of Chetima and his masters on their numerous deceit to all Nigerians. Enough is enough. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message coming from the boss from Okozo, and he says, how can a teacher flog his student to death? That is evil. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have a message that said Nigeria is a country blessed by God, just that some focusless individuals hijack the affairs of the country, thereby plunging the country into deep sea. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, but there's no name to your message. We have a message coming from Honorable Onyedeka Osakwe, and he says the bomb explosion in Ibadan and killing of two first-class traditional rulers in Ekiti State is an indication that this country cannot be amended, and what we need is to flush all these so-called rules that occupy the crucial positions with their walking sticks and thick eyeglasses. He started with the government is unable to protect the people, the governor, and it is due time they throw in their towers. Kidnapping as one of the most lucrative business has come to stay, as there is no sign of tackling them. The federal government is only keen about election matters and impeachment. Every nook and cranny in the nation has been infiltrated by the so-called bandits and kidnappers, and I wonder what dear Tinubu is busy doing in Abuja. The Ifanyoba's quest dream to govern Anambra is like a dream associated with fever, as the APC he just joined has no scorecard. Our state, Anambra, is not Imo. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message that said the recent announcement by Governor Soludo to build 10 states in Anambra will attract foreign investors in Anambra and help to promote our economy. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, but there's no name to your message. We have a message that says Professor Isaiah Ibom is coming from Professor Isaiah Ibom, aka Super Lion of God from Udumubosi, and he says, Pope to Africa, let him stop using Africa to cover his chin. I pray that spirit of end time will not overwhelm Pope. Mr. Pope, who's supposed to be God's spokesman, is in another side. May God help him. Amen. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message that says, Nigeria is a country. Okay, we've gotten this message from you before, but there's no name to it. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. On portal, we have a message that says, I applaud Governor Soludo for promising to rehabilitate former US-based tennis champion Tanya Okbala. Indeed, that is what a good leader should be. He portrays a humanitarian gesture. God bless you for the timely intervention. Kidnappings and insecurities are now Nigerian anthem. When will government step up to its responsibilities? Kenneth Ndubisi Okafor from Momo as Umunashi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's flip over to our Facebook portal to bring you more reactions. From our Facebook portal this morning, we have a message coming from Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara from Owerri, and she says, every new day comes with news of one atrocity or the other. My Imo state, one time most peaceful state, is now a place where we no longer sleep with our two eyes closed. How long will this agony last? Let government rise up to its basic responsibilities of protecting lives and property. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara from Owerri. We have a message coming from our SMS portal, and this says the recent announcement. Okay, it is coming from Ikechukwu Wingate, Nwakeze, and it says the recent announcement by Governor Soludo to build 10-story hotel in Anambra State will attract foreign investors in Anambra and help to promote our economy. And kudos, Governor Soludo, on the ongoing Okuzu to Umunya roads, which is in progress. Wingate Ikechukwu Nwakeze from Okuzu. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message that says the Pope believes that he knows what is causing Africans not to accept same-sex marriage, and they are now working their political teams to harass us. Today, pig meat is all we can afford. Onyekachi from Iyowa. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And this is the spot where we'll begin to call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning once it's 7 o'clock, so keep a date. And don't touch the dial of Ebona, the 103.5 FM, once it's 8:20 this morning. We'll be back with Birthday Splash. Until we meet again, I am Martin. Have a fabulous morning.
nsogbu nke ezinụlọ abụmọnụ alụghị di maọbụ nwaanyị n'oge kwesịrị ha niile ga-abịa n'isi njedebe maka na eluigwe esugo stam. Cheta na ọ bụ apọstụl Dr. John Ọka ka Chineke ga-ejikwara ngwa ọrụ n'ọgbakọ oziọma a. Ọ ga-amalite n'abalị 23 wee ruo n'abalị 24 nke ọnwa Febrụwarị afọ a. Ọ ga na-amalite ma o jiri ọkara gafeta elekere 4 nke mgbede n'ụbọchị ndị a niile, ebe ọ ga n'ime Ebunilo ndị Ichie Hall dị n'Ụmụnnya. Maka ajụjụ kpọọ 0703 3881 221. Kpọrọ ndị ezinụlọ gị, kpọrọ ikwu na ibe gị, bịa sonye n'ihe omume a maka na Elijah nọ n'ebe a. Jizọs bụ eze.
Ezinụlọ.
ezinụlọ bụ ọdịmma obodo. Onye doziri ezinụlọ edozigo obodo. Family is the foundation of the society. Na ọdịmma ezinụlọ n'ebe ọ na-adị 103.5 FM bụ ebe anyị ga na-etinye anya n'okwu gbasara ezinụlọ.
Papa, mama na ụmụaka maka ịmata ihe gbasara ezinụlọ sonyere Classic Lady.
Emenarị Classic Lady
N'ebe ọ na-adị 103.5
FM n'oge ọdịmma ezinụlọ. Canada bịara gị every Tuesday na Friday 3 to 4 p.m.
Biko nwanne m bekene ka m jụọ gị kedu ebe m ga-enweta ezigbo MC maka mmemme a na-akwado?
Ị ka ma ajụ kpọọ Shaka Shaka the latest MC in town ka occasion gị anwa bụrụ ịgba. Ị na-achọ ezigbo MC maọbụ DJ na agbamakwụkwọ go, agbamnkwụ go, child dedication go, imepe ụlọ, ọ bụzi ụmụ akwụkwọ na-eme graduation maọbụ end of the year party. Shaka Shaka bịa na mmemme ahụ. Ị mara na I love you bụ Selekunse. Kpọọ ya n'akara ekwentị ndị a
09022670547 maọbụ WhatsApp 07030366888.
ụmụnne Shaka Shaka.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonadi FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be. Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community. Street report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin SR number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonadi 103.5 FM as Street Reports on Foods.
In your face.
On Emas in Ebonadi corner
24/7. 24/7.
in the world.
We follow her.
In Ogidi.